One, roll VT. Here
Well-
we go, here we go,
Well,
here we going,
come
going,
on,
going
stop.
live.
Hi there.
If you go up to the loft today, you're sure of a big surprise. If you go up to the loft today, you'll never believe your eyes. For every train there ever was has gathered there together because today's the day that Jenny does the Monday Club. Yay!
Sorry, I just clobbered the microphone there. So, a big hello to everybody, and welcome back to another Monday night here on the Monday Club, where all are welcome. And as soon as the Cupboard Monkey stops messing about and starts putting the thing up, because so Ham Shackleton, Simon Motherwell 83, Patrick Ling, Flymer Chairman 1, Simon Train's Motherwell Showcase, the Train Guy 2022, Ruben Ashwell, Hemel Railway, Joe Smith, Withen Model Railway, Harry Swedgett, Houston WHAP, Stevie Film, Dominic Z, our Kickline correspondent, Blackpool Steve, Malcolm Moore, Richard Swiderski, Harry Cedric, James Petts, I approve of James Petts, Southern Train Girl, Vobert Becking, Gone Loco, David Scott, Dean Fielding, let's have a Ralph Davey, Warbler Productions, who's already spotted the break, the TARDIS even. TARDIS on break, fan to the right of the main. Oh, yes, okay. Aiden's Railways, big hello to you. Peter Leyland, Hayden Jones, Dylan Rupper, Valleys 56XX, Ridgeway Park 00, Alex Dent. Gosh, people are typing really quickly. Model Railway Noob, Ollie's Trains Gaming, Map the Dragon Railways, Andy Brooks, Breezer 707, Alan Reynolds, J-Cloth PVA, Alan, good evening to you too. Hello to you, Egg Rider, Mike at Putnam Junction, Robert Cissir, gosh, it's like Leslie Gilpin Railway, so many people, it's great to see you all. And basically, yeah, we've just had Easter. I'm guessing that Easter's at the same time in all countries. It's not like
No.
No?
I'm pretty sure the Orthodox Church has it at a different time to the Catholics and Protestants.
You nearly said something else for the second one. I could hear a different word forming.
I couldn't remember what the word was.
Big hello to George Botterini. Great to see you. Sparky 107. Soda Dan Daman says, good evening. First time stream watcher for you, Jennifer. Oh, hello and welcome. Great to see you. We've got Tim's Model Railways in different videos. Ryan Shun, Hemeldown Model Railway. Southern Video Photographer, 156, Andrew, Clive Cobold. It's a really good turnout. Don't forget to tickle the like button, share the stream to social media, and also, if you've not already done so, then do please consider subscribing to the channel and ringing the bell to be the first to know about new videos as and when they go up. But today, well, the big news you've probably already seen from the thumbnail is that we've been loaned some of the EP, these are the engineering prototypes from these are from KR Models. So you will see just coming into view down here, just by the Class 8 shunter on the DCC Concepts ABC shuttle, we have the Hunslet Bobo shunting locomotive. These are the ones that work. I know them from Scunthorpe. The Appleby Frodingham Railway Society has a really great museum there, and they do tours of the steelworks sites via breakbands, and these are some of the locomotives that you would still see at the location, and these models have been developed with the help and amazing input from the Appleby Frodingham Railway Society. So that is doing the rounds. Immediately behind it you will also see the two samples of the PAL brick. So the brown one is the PAL brick in its original condition, and then the yellow one is the PAL brick in its later converted condition. I don't know whether it's to the coil P or the barrier coupling converter wagon. Now the colours on these are just bare plastics, and because they're an engineering prototype, That's why the colours might seem a bit weird. They're not painted at all. Oh my word, thank you ever so much. Dylan Rupert incredibly generously donated on the super chat $20. Thank you so much for your generosity. And Dylan says, recently bought a used brass NNW Y6B 2882 and can't wait to see it. Also, my last name's pronounced Rupert, but it's a misspelling with an extra P by a doctor where my grandfather on my dad's side was born. There are quite a history, certainly in the UK, of names getting misspelt in the dim and distant past. So people's surnames change, not necessarily because they choose to change it, but because somebody wrote it wrong. But thank you so much for your generosity.
Like, what was the one in Terry Pratchett? Margaret Garlic. Wasn't her middle name? What's that cow doing here? Because during her naming ceremony, a cow wandered in.
That could be, yeah, vaguely remember. I preferred the City Watch books. I thought they were the best. But a few people have been asking about the triple header that's going round. Oh, I've just missed it there. So what about if I go to the mountain cam? So we are about to get a triple header come out through the tunnel.
I thought that's what you've been talking about. I was actually following it around earlier on.
No. Well, people in the chat were. A big hello to 57305 Northern Princess, Nigel Cole, Andy Brooks. Ian White asks, how do you explain to the wife you may have spent too much money on something?
I believe the first thing you have to say is, my dear, you look so pretty today.
Soda Dan Daman, welcome. The newest Jenny Kirk Monday Club membership member. Thank you for joining the channel membership, and that does of course give you early access to the Friday videos advert free, but also it gives you a selection of additional emojis that you can use in the chat, and you get a natty green colour. Women Model Railway says, my grandfather went out to register my aunt but had a few drinks on the way. She never had her birth registered.
Oh my goodness.
It's like, I'm sure there's something I'm supposed to be doing.
Somewhere, what if it was the same day got a new TV and all of a sudden Sony's got a birth certificate?
Yeah. I thought, well, I know you should be pleased with our new Trinitron colour TV, but, you know, you don't need to register as your child. So there's another great view there of the, you'll have just seen it go past whilst we were yabbering about names.
About daftness.
But that was the Hunslet Bobo with the 2 Palbrick samples, and actually it's got 6 of the concert iron ore hoppers behind it. All of them have the load.
Ham Shackleton says the train cameras are a bit jerky. Unfortunately, we don't know what's causing that. I noticed that too.
What's wrong?
The cameras on the live feed are a little bit jerky.
Right, that's interesting. But am I?
Do you want to press the button to switch to something where we can actually see what's going on?
Oh well, as you asked nicely. Big thank you to George Botterini. Thank you so much for your generosity, donating $9.99 on the super chat. So thank you ever so much for that. And George says for the train fund. Well, thank you so much. And it's incredibly generous of you. And of course, every little does go towards the channel to help to keep it going, making the videos that you want to see.
I think Windows is updating in the background.
That wouldn't surprise me.
It's been doing that a lot lately, even though we've set it to not do it while we're working.
Yeah, it just ignores you. Big hello to Mel's. Good day to you. We've got Belmont Junction as well. Andy Brooks. So just scanning through. Ham Shackleton says that cam is running properly. So I don't know whether it's certain cameras.
It's not, because I'm checking the feed now.
James Hardy asks, what's the A4 that's running? I think it's Samura Wilson. It's 60,002, I think. Yeah, 60,002 Samura Wilson. It's actually one of the newer Bachmann models. And I must admit, I'd been shunning the Bachmann models since my split chassis one, but the newer version really is amazing. Soda Dan Daman has very, very kindly donated on the super chat £2. Thank you so much for your generosity. And says, any Thomas characters you could run, please? Unfortunately, we don't have any.
Yeah.
And people do keep asking for a Thomas the Tank Engine review. And I think that actually what I do need to do
is get a Thomas the Tank Engine.
Well, I'm interested in some of the new Bachmann ones. And
Yes.
In all honesty, actually, the ones I really like the narrow gauge ones. They do Rheneas and Skarloey, which are the two narrow gauge ones that are loosely based.
Is that 009?
Yeah. They're based on the locomotives Talyllyn and Dolgoch from the Talyllyn Railway.
Yeah, okay, but...
Although I like the idea of, I think they've done Rusty the Diesel as well, which might be quite a nice one. Right, a few people saying yes.
What's the news?
The news is today that we've got a number of engineering prototypes that have been very, very kindly loaned by KR Models. So we've been talking a little bit about the Hunslet Bobo. This is the locomotives that have worked at Scunthorpe since the early 1970s. And behind that, we've got both different versions of the PAL brick. And this here, if I just hold it up, just lean right forward, this is the Fell. Now, we have recorded some video of this running. It's DC only, and it's led a hard life through testing and also making multiple trips between the UK and Canada. But certainly on the rolling road, on my very, very short piece of test track that I use for just running stuff in on DC, it did seem to perform okay. It's really quite magical to watch all of that linkage going around. And this particular locomotive has been stress tested 4 days of non-stop running, and it's come through that with flying colours. The fact it still works after that really does show the resilience in the drive for this. And it's actually unusual in that the motor drives the main crankshaft of the engine, and then that in turn drives the transmission down to the bogies.
Leg bones collected to the
rather than previous models from other manufacturers, I believe, have a motor that drives the bogies through gear towers, and then it's purely cosmetic that then feeds back through dummy transmission. So it is the actual engine on this that makes everything work.
Wow.
Simon Trains Mother Railway Showcase. Yeah, it was a shay. What did I say? Did I say fell or something?
Probably.
I keep alliterating fell and shay. I don't know why, but yeah, no, it is the shay.
No, you don't. You keep conflating. Alliterating would be something very, very different, Jen.
What was
you conflate.
So what's alliterate?
When you use the same starting letter on several words.
Oh. Or
loose lips sink ships, that kind of thing. Double alliteration.
Oh, so like, right, okay. Anyway, meanwhile, back at the ranch,
Big Bertha bake red badly.
Andy Brooks says in the May issue of Hornby magazine there's an article and pictures of the North Norfolk Railway Club model railway. Ham Shackleton points out that I was starting to tell us about the triple header, then got diverted. Isn't that always the way?
But don't look at me, I didn't do it.
Yeah, but you did distract me.
Jack, where were we on Friday?
Friday we were at the grand reopening of Rails after they have refurbished their shop. Went there, we filmed a video, that'll be coming out on Wednesday. Really, really great time. And so really, really grateful to Rails for inviting us there. And one of the locomotives I bought is actually in that triple header. So we've got we did. So we've got an S15 and then not one but two standard class 4 tanks. We've got 80118 and 80053, just one number different from my childhood 80054. Tim's Model Railways and Different Videos says, do you still want a big boy, Jenny?
Whoa! Oh, baby!
Always. Actually, yeah, I would really do like at some point to try and get hold of a big boy.
That would be an amazing one to try and run on this.
It will go round, I'm pretty sure of
Well,
it.
if the Garrett can go around, a big boy.
Oh, yeah. And the clearances were all set for a Bosch Buster.
Of course, yeah.
I used the Bosch Buster for gauging. Right.
Would you like a drink?
Yeah, please. White Horse Brick says, I heard that the Reverend Audrey painted his coaches different colours either side. So when they came out of a tunnel, it looked like a different train. I have heard of people.
Cool.
I have heard people on shunting layouts actually give different sides of a wagon or a coach, or even a locomotive, a different livery or running number, on the basis that you'd never see both sides in the same session. So it basically doubled the amount of available rolling stock.
I have to admit, when we saw his original models that he hand built,
because they fold bar,
this ready to run stuff just wasn't available. The way he'd done it was amazing.
The 009 models that Reverend Audrey had actually made for Skarloey, Talathin and the coaches were actually really, really well done, to the point where they looked like a high quality modern commercial made model. And I'm not saying that to be derogatory to them. It's actually they were done to such a high standard. It was comparable to what the likes of Bachmann might have made if they were making those locomotives as a mass-produced model. Southern Video Photographer says, Jennifer Kirk, I am looking at O gauge and think switching from a double O gauge, but not sure what to do. Now, what I will say to you is that the larger scales are really nice. Now, O gauge is becoming a lot more affordable these days, but the caveat is that they do need a very large area. So if you want a continuous running layout, then you are going to need quite a large area for O gauge. I'm thinking that minimum radius is something silly like 3 feet, which is actually huge. When you lay a circle of O gauge track at what is minimum radius for O gauge, it is a huge area. I have modelled in O gauge. My garden railway is in O gauge, but also I've got a little it's a workable diorama in O gauge, and it's about 4 feet long by 18 inches deep, and there's not actually that much on it. So really it's a case of deciding what space you have available, but O gauge does look really good. The prices are now very good value for money as well. But really, honestly, I'd say that for 99 out of 100 people, the issue comes down to space. Soda Dan Demand says the Reverend Audrey original 009 models will always be better than what becomes commercially available. And they were just amazing. And the coaches as well, the Skarloey Railway coaches, really do look superb. Garoda says, howdy Jenny, big hello to you. Dundee Road, hi to you. Jennifer Kirk, will we see some update on the Garden Railway this year? Quite possibly. I do need to refurbish it. Now, I have filmed a lot of videos over the last couple of weeks, and this means that we've now got a buffer of something like 4 months worth of videos. Not 4 months, 2 months, 8 weeks, sorry, so 2 months in the buffer, which does mean that I've got a lot more time that I can devote to larger projects, and actually one of them would be the redevelopment of the Garden Railway. It does need some work doing. It's not currently in a runnable state, but yes, I do need to revisit that. James Hardy asks, how come the Reverend Audrey didn't put faces on his Thomas models? I don't know, to be honest. I know that he was very much a fine scale modeler for his time, and certainly when you look at his models, they are incredibly good, credible, kit bashed, adapted models, and done to a very high standard given the materials available at the time. But that may have coloured his view of not putting faces on things. Ralph Davies says, Big Boy is nice, but for me the SPAC cab forward is nicest and US steam loco. But then SPS, that's Southern Pacific, is my favourite railroad and what I model. Simon Railway Enthusiast 83 says, my gosh, 2 months of content. Absolutely. So we've done a lot of visits and commission videos and stuff. We did one with TMC to highlight and showcase their graffiti service. So watch this space. We're waiting for the Monday Club Wagon. I did get one with custom graffiti, so we're waiting for that to come back, and then we're going to complete filming that video. We've got a good interview with Alex Yates of TMC. Really looking forward to getting that out. That'll probably be next week's Wednesday video. I've got a video going over the Unsung Heroes factory weathered models, what is available and how good really are they. We've also got a full review in O gauge of that Daypole Class 08 shunter. We've got a full review in 009 of the Princess model that I got. And we've also got this Friday the exclusive overview video of the KR Models EPs. We've got a full review of the concerts from KR Models as well coming up. It really is busy, busy, busy. I'm also going to be working on Series 2 of Hornby Model World. So really, really busy, busy, busy. Ian Parker says, Jenny, I'm jealous of your guards vans. I do have quite a lot of guards. I think that, yeah, in that shot you can see a rake there. I think I did do a video some time ago, longest train of nothing but brake vans, and I've actually bought a number since then, so maybe I should restage that video. I can't remember the number that I got, but it's probably in the region of 50 or 60 brake vans, maybe even more. It was a very, very long train. I do love my brake vans, and I'm also very jealous of Wardle Road. Big hello to Wardle Road. He's just got his latest videos out, and actually one of the things I should say is if you haven't already seen his Brake Van Diaries, a really great series. The video that he had out at the end of last week is an absolutely amazing video. It's a visit to the Great Central Railway, and the cinematography, the video editing, the composition of that really was amazing, well worth watching, and certainly a great series to follow the progress Ollie is making on that brake van. A big welcome to Garoda, who is the newest member of the Jenny Monday Club membership. So welcome to you. Thank you so much for helping to support the channel. New Western Grove says, recently bought 4 Airfix Mark 2Ds, only 2 have the gangway connectors and 1 is missing a bogie. But I'm planning on detailing them with Bachmann and scratch-built parts. And there are, of course, also a few aftermarket detail makers who actually produce a lot of parts for detailing. So actually missing some of the parts that you may well have been going to replace anyway is probably no great hardship. The Train Guy 2022 says, please answer, will you get the KR Models Southern Railway Bullied Leader when it's out? Absolutely, that is my plan. We will be getting the leader, don't know which livery yet, but we will do a full review of that when it comes. A big thank you to Soda Dan Daman, who very, very generously donated £2 on the Super Chat. It says, Frank was my great uncle. I'm Hornby. Oh my word, that is quite some family heritage. Of course, Frank Hornby, the original Hornby company, founded at in Liverpool. Binns Road was the factory there. Binns Road itself, funnily enough, is still there, the road, but everything is redeveloped, and it's not clear whether any of the buildings that are there now date back to the days of the Meccano company at that location. But certainly Hornby O-Gauge was where it started, and then Hornby 00, 00 of course just being a play on the scale, hence the items done for the French market being called Hornby HO, being a play on that scale. Gosh, how did that come off the track? Let me just... Ooh, that. Right. Robin Silver says, I've put my narrow gauge track on my baseboard. Oh wow, was that your picture that we saw in the Facebook group? Certainly, it has to be said that 009 is a very, very adaptive scale. Very easy to get quite a lot in a small space. I love narrow gauge modelling. Kev Pugh says, why has KR given up on the Class 18? I believe it's because another manufacturer made an announcement and looked to be further ahead. At the time, KR models had just done research in CADs to some degree, and I think that they took a view that they weren't going to compete head-to-head with another ready-to-run company, and I think that's why it's been dropped. Dominic Z says, Jenny, what do you think of my new profile picture? Well, it's very, very small. But yeah, that looks nice. Lifestyle Unleashed, big hello to you. Great to see you. Growler Blackwood Engage layout. Again, great to see you too. We're having a really great turnout today. Now, I'm going to show you again, for those of you who arrived late, we have got the KR Models EP of the Shay, and it's really quite interesting actually. Something I hadn't realised until I got to borrow this is that the boiler is offset. So there's the side with the engine, and then if I turn this around, we've got the side on the other side. Really is an interesting model. The black that the EP is in does make it a little bit difficult to show detail, but we've got a full overview video on a Friday, so if you want the full details, that'll be there. Waddle Road says, never fear, for I am here. Just your ears must have been burning, because we were just saying about how the video you had out last week, your visit to the Great Central Railway. I was blown away actually, I don't mind saying, that the quality of the videography, the editing and the whole composition of that video was really, really good. Timothy Kynard, big hello to you. Ruben Ashwell, Robert Ciceri, and great to see you in as well. I wonder if we go New Junction. New Junction. Come on, New Junction. Come on, get your keyboard out. Is he going to come? No. But B. Mozza says, most of all, not if not all Shays have an offset boiler. Yeah, it would need to be, because the actual engine is mounted on the side there, so the boiler would need to be offset, partially for a weight distribution, but also because you need the space for it. Robert Steers, great to see you. Hope I find you well. It says the Shay would be a great ON30 project. I don't, because this is HO, so I don't know. ON30, how would that scale? It'd be way too small for that, but I suppose if they scaled it up, maybe that's something to approach them. They were at the Denver, Colorado Mountain Railroad show, so they do a number of shows in the US, and you can see their full US range that is forthcoming, which includes the Shay, logging cars to go with that and everything. But certainly might be worth approaching them if there is enough market. James Hardy says, Jenny, have you seen pictures of Tor Valley in purple? I have actually, and I quite like it. It's a little bit more purpley than the BR Experimental Purple. I think it's actually closer to a Porterbrook Purple. But so I quite like it. I have to say, I do approve of it. I would consider a model of it. I know it's not everybody's cup of tea. But there we are. Robert Steer says ON30. Ah, right. It's 1 to 48 scale narrow gauge, running on HO track. So at the very least, it would be a basis for the chassis, the transmission, the motor on the side. You just need to build, I guess, a bigger boiler and a bigger cab. Yes, the Cupboard Monkey shouts from downstairs, we need everything bigger than everything else. And Robert Steer says, ON30, very popular here. Absolutely, it's one of those weird things. The 009 in the UK and its sister scale HOE across Europe. What happened to the Coke?
Double choc mocha.
I really wanted Coke.
Finish your hot chocolate mocha, and I will bring Coke.
It's just I'm really thirsty. I can't quench thirst with the hot chocolate.
Fine. Hey, the things I do for you.
I mean, ON30, the closest we've got is O16.5. But that's actually O gauge narrow gauge, representing, I think it's approximately 2 foot gauge. Or is it 3 foot gauge? I'm just sort of looking at my my programming track here. I'd guess that's more likely to be 3 foot gauge. But certainly HOE and 009, I don't think you particularly have that in the US, but ON30, as you say, is a very popular scale. Dominic Z says, Jenny, the only airings from Kickline that had the Buena Vista logo at the end were the Disney Channel airings, although Kickline is not a Disney show. Never knew. Wardle Road says, what's running tonight? Right, well, we have got Samura Wilson is going around. You'll just see it passing the Noch Limited Edition Geister House, the Haunted House, which is, I think, the 2018 Limited Edition Noch kit. They do one every year, actually. This year's looks really nice. So that's Samura Wilson, 60,002. One of the less known A4s. We've then also got, you'll see the Class 8 shunt, which I think is D3509. And that's doing one of the 3 DCC Concepts ABC shuttles. Then you will also see, coming down the incline, there is a standard class 4 tank. It's a Bachmann, and it's 80053, and that is also doing the other DCC Concepts ABC shuttle. Then we have the EP sample of the Hunslet Bobo is doing the rounds with a rake of the KR models concert iron ore hoppers, plus the 2 EPs of the different versions of the PAL bricks. John JMC, evening to you. It's great to see you in. Hope I find you well. Lifestyle Unleashed says, I love the A4 on the turntable. Beautiful locomotive. Oh yeah, that's Walter K. Wiggum, which is 60,028, or as I keep calling it, Police Chief Wiggum. Right. James Hardy asks, how big is your 009? It's about 3 feet by 3 feet. It's really quite small.
It's tiny.
Yeah, absolutely. Sodar Dan Daman says, Jenny, which is the worst running loco you have and what's the best? And by and large, some of the best running locos are the Bobo diesels, things like the Bachmann Class 24s and 25s. I found that they run super reliably, even over dodgy track. Also, the Hellion Class 05 shunters have got probably about the smoothest, silkiest mechanism, certainly of any of the shunting locomotives. So I would probably put those two up there as the best running from a purely mechanical point of view. The grip, track holding, worst running locomotives.
That Airfix one.
Which Airfix one?
You know, the really old Airfix one in that box set we found one time.
But I don't count that.
The one that when you put it on the track screams.
No, I don't count that. That's not part of my my core collection.
Oh, is that from your museum set?
No, the cupboard set. Worst running. Probably.
How about that one that you left running for a week to see how long it would last, and then the engine burnt out?
No. I think actually the Bachmann Class 04 shunters are some of the worst, but that's only because they're about the last split chassis locos left in my fleet. The Growler Blackwood N-Gauge layout says, Jenny, I posted some pictures of my great retaining wall build on your Facebook page. Oh, brilliant. Thank you. We will take a look after the stream. And of course, everybody, the Jenny Monday Club Facebook group is the best place to hang out between Monday clubs and chat with like-minded people, and also to be able to share pictures and updates of your projects, model railway related things that you've seen on the internet, and also to be able to comment on other people's pictures and stuff as well.
We also have a Discord group.
Oh yeah, apparently we've got Discord.
Although I have to admit I haven't been in for a couple of days because we've been away.
Yeah. We obviously don't announce in advance when we're away.
Yeah.
Iron Horse Railways, good evening to you. Big hello. Great to have you in. Iron Horse Railway says, evening, Jen, Zoe, and chat. Little bit not on time tonight. Just got back from a ride out on my motorbike. Hope we're all well. What's on the board tonight, then?
A Monday clubber is never late, Frodo Baggins, nor is he early. He arrives precisely when he means to.
Thanks, Gandalf. So there you have it. Chris Benefield says, SLW Class 24 with Stay Alive, my best runner, followed by Hellion 33 with Locksound version 5. Yeah, basically any of those heavy-duty Bobo chassis locomotives do seem to run really, really well. Ironically, with the exception of mine, Bachmann Class 20s do seem to suffer a bit from a wide... Excuse me, there's a lot of gas in that Diet Coke. They do seem to suffer from bad back-to-backs, I do find. Garoda says, opinions on the Hunslet you've got running around. I think it is very, very good. Certainly, this is the prototype that has done the 4-day continuous endurance run. Excuse me. That KR Models put all of their stuff through. And it has done really, really well. So, the fact that it still runs, and it still runs pretty sweetly, is pretty good. Now, it did have lights on a moment ago, but I've somehow managed to turn them off. I haven't quite worked out all the lighting functions. And it's not got the sound chip in, but there is a sound suite that's being developed for it. When it comes out, there will be a sound version as well. And what's really interesting is that actually these are actually quite an old industrial locomotive, but they do look quite modern. Well, you think that they were introduced in the early 1970s, I believe, and as far as I can tell, were most likely the replacement for things like austerity steam locomotives. They really are a quantum leap over what had come before. So very, very long-lived. They're actually older than a lot of stuff that's currently running, if not all the things that are routinely running on Britain's railways. And they date back to a time when even warships and westerns and Hymeks were still running on the rail network. James Hardy says, so Hunslet made diesels, an awful lot actually, and certainly there's a lot of industrial Hunslets out there. Hunslet Barclay also did the Class 06 shunters. I believe, did they do the Class 01s as well? So certainly there's a great railway building heritage behind Hunslet. I think technically they do still exist. The name was bought out. They built at Statfold Barn, and I think it's Statfold Barn that bought the rights to the name. They actually built 2 brand new Quarry Hunslets.
I remember you asked how much they cost.
Yeah, it's like, if you have to ask, you can't afford.
Yeah, you tried to set up a payment plan. What was it? 20 quid every now and again?
Yeah, funnily enough.
They didn't say no.
They didn't
say yes, did they?
Technically, they didn't say no, but they did say give me a 2-word answer. The second word was off. And there was something that, I don't know, there was something about production. Wardle Road says there's a lovely Hunslet at the Colne Valley Railway. Absolutely, and it is quite funny actually. Wardle Road, you started on 00, you dabbled in O gauge, and then before we knew it, you had 5-inch gauge, and now you're on full size. So you're going to be going up to Brunel broad gauge anytime soon.
I bet I know what his next one is. He's going to put a model railway in his actual railway.
Hey, actually, Ollie, there's a thought. If you try and buy that Gov that I told you about that's abandoned in Manchester, then you could actually build your model railway into it.
That would actually be quite interesting.
Yeah, but then...
A model railway on tour. Check your local actual railway.
Jennifer Garrett, big hello to you. Hi, Jenny. Lovely to see the bigger tank engines getting an outing on the layout tonight. Enjoyed a trip behind 80080 at the weekend. Pictures on Facebook. I did see those, actually. I do like the BR Standard Class 4 tank locomotive. And when we were over at Rails on Friday, I actually bought it second-hand out of the cabinets because it would have been rude to go and visit a model shop and not actually bought something. I bought another one, and the running number is 80053, which is one number out from my childhood one, the Hornby 008054. I keep prodding Backman to make 80054 in BR lined black with the early crest, and then 80033 and 80059 in lined black with the later crest. They were the 3 Hornby 00 standard class 4 tank locomotives, and certainly 80054 and 80033 would sell incredibly well to the nostalgia market, being that they are actually the original Hornby 00 locomotives, but still waiting for them to appear. What have I missed?
What's going on?
Yes, Statfold are building a third.
How many do they need? The place is full already.
Oh, you never have too many. Valley's 56XX, one of our Jenny Monday Club members, says, my best runner is my Backman 56XX, number 5639. My worst is 56XX 5660. Identical chassis, both look fine. Sometimes you get that, even across the same type of locomotive. Sparky 107 says, Ollie, I think Jenny is setting you out to be a guinea pig on that one. You do it first. James Hardy suggests model railway and a brake van. Ooh. Although, funnily enough, Myneth Tatus would fit in Ollie's brake van. Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah, so there.
Oh my goodness.
What?
I've just seen a 2D cutout of a police car stood on the side of the road, actually staked in place as if it's going to be there permanently. And someone's written a comment saying, it's like a scarecrow only for humans. That's brilliant.
James Hardy says, do you know 15 BR4MT tanks still survive? I know that there was actually quite a large number did survive, not least because I believe quite a number of them went to Barry Scrapyard and therefore were never actually cut up. Tim's Model Railway in Different Videos asks, are you starting videos early today because you got a lot of videos?
We will be in about 15 minutes.
Yeah, we'll do it about, about 15:15, so we'll have an extra 15 minutes.
Jenny, is there any other news?
I don't know, is there? You say that like you're about to go,
no,
aha, you got it wrong, you didn't know about this, ha ha.
No,
other news, I was saddened to see that Sam Turner of Sam's Trains managed to find the only damaged Rapido 5 and 7 plank wagons. I mean, it's like, what are the chances of that?
That guy seems to have no luck.
Yeah, if he didn't have any luck, he'd have no luck. So really unfortunate that he's found the only damaged set of those wagons, but certainly my experience of the Rapido wagons was really, really good. But of course, actually, yes, there is more news. Staying on the subject of Rapido, it's also the case that Rapido were at Rails. There's quite a good turnout of manufacturers on Friday. Was that we had Bachmann, we had Rapido, we had KR models, and also Revolution Trains, or was it Cavalex? No, it was Cavalex.
Yes.
Cavalex, DCC Concepts too. But Rapido were there, and they showed an exclusive first look at the running sample of the Lion locomotive.
And we've got some footage of that coming out on Wednesday, yes?
That will be part of the video on Wednesday. It did run pretty well, actually, all things considered.
I thought it looked rather
and it had
snazzy.
the working sound in. And there's something I can't tell you because it's secret, but I happen to know it. But keep your eyes peeled because there is more awesome sauce to come.
Is this the secret where if you press all the function keys on DCC at once, it transforms into Optimus Prime?
No, it just goes, oi, will you stop pushing those buttons, alright?
We need a locomotive. I need to see a version of Skytrain or Space Train that can transform using one of the DCC functions.
John JMC, this is talking about best and worst running locomotives. Says my best is my Rapido J70 and my worst was my Class 14. But lots of work and it's all sorted. Had a guy comment at Statful Barn.
Excellent.
Yeah, absolutely. You had some comments as well from some of the people filming. Go, oh, I like this one. I like what they're doing in the back screen. I tell you, you were well made up when because Zoe didn't know it was your layout when she said that to you.
I didn't see. It was a really good layout, and to be honest with you, I'm glad that he was appreciative because that could have gone really badly.
Yeah.
Look at that. Yeah.
Jerry BVR says Sam needs to have strong words with the postman. Yeah, because by all accounts, it looked like the postman had been at his model with a Stanley knife or something. I've been told.
Let's not go into exactly what may or may not have happened.
Might not be in the postman.
Yeah.
Right. Ginty Steam says Lion is one of my favourite of the early era steam locos, and of course the thing about Lion is that the model coming from Rapido is really only suitable to model it from the 1930s onwards. So one of the things, Lion has quite a long history. Nobody actually knows what the original Lion truly looked like. Because there's no drawings, certainly no photographs.
That's a real shame.
You know, it's just like a mystery. But when it was actually worked with Liverpool and Manchester, became the Grand Junction Railway, then became, I think it was the London and North Western Railway, and it worked through those three companies, through these different mergers. And then it was sold to the Mersey Harbour and Docks Company and became a shunter in the dock estate for a length of time. It was then repurposed as a pumping engine. So as to, I've yet to work out how much actually survived. I've never seen a picture, to show what they actually salvaged. So I don't know how much of the current Lion is just a fictitious rebuild by the LMS in the 1930s. Certainly the copper haystack style firebox cover is not original, rather fanciful, even though that's what we've become used to Lion looking like. But the model from Rapido will model it suitable for the 1930s conditions. When it did run, it was then refurbished for the celebrations at Rainhill, I think, where it did run again into the early 80s. And then it's been mounted and stuffed since then. James Hardy asked, isn't Lion the original locomotive? Yeah, that was the other thing as well. Is nobody's 100% sure that the Lion is actually Lion and not Tiger.
See, this is the issue, isn't it, when you have no records? You just don't know.
Leslie Gilpin Railway says the LNWR Society Journal had several probably drawings of Lion, but didn't have the pseudo firebooks that the LMS put on it. John JMC asks, are you starting the video and pictures at 8 PM? No, we're looking at 8:15. You know, as it's existed for longer in its present form, I believe, than it existed in any previous form, I guess that just is what it looks like.
You know what the worst thing is when you're talking about all these things where we've lost all this knowledge? Beethoven died in 1827. The first recording was in the late 1850s. We were 30 years from knowing how Beethoven would have played his music.
Interesting, or even what they sounded like as people.
Yeah, 30 years.
Although if you get a direct descendant, the chances are at least some of them sound exactly like him.
Probably do. But which one? And that's the thing.
John JMC says the model of Thunderbolt has the GWR King injector that was fitted for the film. Yeah, because they had problems with steaming it for the film. So it got fitted with a pressure gauge, which I can imagine is very essential, but also an injector to ensure that they could manage the water.
And a turbocharger.
Jennifer Garrett says
And
Lion is a mystery. Anthony Dawson's book reveals it doesn't really have any surviving links to 1838. Even the wheelbase was different. It could be Lion, Tiger, or a few other locos.
Fair.
Absolutely. And the thing is, though, it's not entirely clear that records were kept as to which locomotive became which subsequent locomotive throughout the mergers, and even because the Mersey Harbour and Docks Company bought a number of locos over the years from different companies, whether the locomotive that ended up as a pumping engine even was the Lion or not just some other early engine.
I think this is the issue, isn't it? It's what my RE teacher, of all people, told me one time. You go to a museum and it says this sword belonged to X, Y, and Z. You don't know that's true, is it? That says it's King Richard's sword. But if I wait till you're not looking and switch out the cards, now it says it's mine. Just because someone says it's a thing doesn't mean it actually is.
Yeah, it's a bit like the Nelson Mandela effect, isn't it?
Oh, the Mandela effect, yes. Always people remember watching on TV his funeral in the 90s.
That never happened.
Yeah, it's like, dude, you're still alive when you said that.
Actually, Melchester Model Railway says great composers would have made good names for locomotives. Yeah, actually, yeah. Johann Sebastian Bach, Johann Strauss, Richard Strauss, Mr. Haydn.
Now you've just forgotten all of the
Mozart. It's like Madonna, just Mozart. One word. What was Mozart? No, it was Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart.
Amadeus.
No. What was Haydn's first name?
I'll find out.
Yeah, you do that.
I have the power of the Intertron.
And what about Chopin? What was he like? Bob Chopin? John JMC says, love the pressure gauge. 250 psi, but its working pressure was 50. And yes, it did get damaged, although Richard Swiderski says, yes, damage to buffer when fighting the road roller. I believe the damage is actually between the tender and the locomotive. which was caused when the rolling away train caught it up and hit it a little bit too roughly.
Joseph
Haydn.
Haydn.
There we go. Iron Horse Railway suggests the Chopin class. Oh. Yep, there we are. Leslie Gilpin Railways also says Joseph Haydn as well. Franz Chopin.
Frederick Chopin.
Oh. Oh, yeah.
He was Polish, so he probably may have gone by France as well. Yeah.
And James Hardy says, I can't believe the original rocket survives. And the thing to look at Rocket is...
Does it?
Yes, it's at the Science Museum, and it looks nothing like the rocket that you think of as the rocket.
Right, so the one that I'm thinking of is the one that doesn't look like it, and it isn't the original, because it's the one that has all the mods and stuff.
The one that you're thinking of is based on the old drawings of the original rocket, how it looked at the Rainhill trials. That's the famous rocket look. But the real locomotive was very quickly rebuilt. And the remains of that locomotive, and it didn't run for a huge length of time with Liverpool and Manchester, but it was sold on to a colliery, I believe. I mean, it was rebuilt by the Liverpool and Manchester. One of the big things that was very quickly done was that the cylinders were, they changed the angle of the cylinders. So I believe that the rocket that's in the Science Museum, that's the original rocket, the cylinders are nearly horizontal, not at that 45-degree angle. And there's another number of other differences. But it was rebuilt, it was sold on to a colliery. I think it became a stationary engine or a stationary boiler, something like that. And it was when it was finally time for retiring it, its significance was recognised at the time. And it was donated for preservation.
Right.
One of the first railway locomotives, I guess, that was actually preserved.
Yeah, because people go, no, we can't possibly do history an injustice by getting rid of this thing.
Well, the thing is, back then they did a lot of times do just that.
Yeah, they did.
It was very, very, very different way of thinking. And actually, some of the corporate architectural vandalism of the 50s, 60s and 70s, well, certainly the 60s, the destruction of the Doric Arch at London Euston Station actually provided the springboard for what ended up being English heritage and the grade listing system. And
it's stuff that people do just because I don't want it, therefore it's not valid. It's like, no, you can't.
It was
do
like
that.
basically, no, we want a sleek and modern station.
So in the 60s, a modern thing, I'll tell you what, if you want modern 60s brutalism, what I'll do is I'll give you a slap and then you can go and sit in the corner and think about what you've done.
Yeah, on the naughty step.
Yeah.
So does Dan Daman says, what's better, replicas, new builds, or restoration? Well, I suppose replicas and new builds are the same thing, aren't they? If it's a replica, it's a new build.
Oh yeah. Replicas have a slightly different status though, because it's a new build, but it's based on something that already existed.
Yeah, but the new builds are generally replicas. I'm not aware of anybody who's gone, let's just build a steam locomotive, we'll just make it without any historical references, we'll just make a new steam locomotive. I'm not aware of anybody having done that.
Yeah.
Francis Wadsworth asks, Jenny and Zoe, has any one of you been down to Tinker's Park near Uckfield? In Hadlow Down, West Sussex, there's a narrow gauge railway, miniature railway, steam traction and bus rally. Not one that we've ever been to, I have to say. Right. Iron Horse Railways is modern brutalising. That's you, isn't it?
Brutalism should have been outlawed.
To be honest, it looked nasty even when it was new. It was horrible. When you actually look at some of these films from the 60s, like the Pathé newsreels, it looks naff then when it was new.
Yeah, brutalism was never good.
156 Andrew says, have to go, take care, stay safe, and hope to see you soon. You take care too, it's been great having your company. And don't forget everybody to tickle that like button. because it's a great way to help the channel grow. Just tickle the like button. It costs you nothing, but it helps so much. And also, do please share the stream to social media if you can, and subscribe to the channel if you've not already done so. Ginty Steam says it's amazing the original rocket survived, didn't end up blowing up later in its life. I don't think the original rocket's ever been steamed in preservation.
To be honest with you, would you want to be the one that decided to do it and then it broke? Would you want to be the person who decided to chance it and destroyed?
You just wouldn't You just wouldn't be able to steam it. You'd have to rebuild it, and the process of rebuilding, I suspect everything's so worn out. You might as well put it to one side and make a replica, because you'd be replacing everything. It's a bit like vintage aircraft restoration when they get a crashed Spitfire and rebuild it. It's the dirty little secret of aircraft restoration, is that the original wreck leaves bit by bit in a skip at the back, and there's just like a token one-off bit that's that's left from the original to call it a rebuild and not a replica.
Well, that's it. It's the ship of Theseus. It's getting around the ship of Theseus.
It's Trigger's broom.
The Trigger's broom is a ship of Theseus.
Yeah.
And it's all about, if there's one piece left, it's still the original.
But what if... Right, so it's the original at the point that one piece is left. But does that not mean that when that piece gets replaced, what is it then? Are you saying that you could have a small little sliver of wood that's still original, and so the whole thing is original, but you pull it off? No, it's this thing. Suddenly, boom, it's not an original anymore.
Essentially, yes. So that's the philosophical debate, isn't it? In Greece, ancient Greece, they had Theseus's ship, and it was there, and it was a real thing. And then slowly they replaced every single part of it. And then had a debate. At what point did that stop being the ship of Theseus?
But you could argue, and like philosophy student, honours degree in philosophy here, but you could argue that it never stopped being the original. And this is all basing itself on the arbitrary assumption that it has to contain at all times something that was there at the start. But actually, after the first rebuild, it's still considered the original thing. After the second, after the third, it's still it's original so long as there is a continuity back to...
Continuity is the thing. This is what comes up in Greg Egan's sci-fi book, Schultz's Ladder, where it's about people. Over your life, every single cell in your body is replaced. But because it's a gradual process and you can therefore track every single change, you are still the same person that you were before, even though every single cell in your body is different.
Now here's something for... And sorry, we're just we're in the zone here.
But because of that, what if you take out every single P6 at one from a thing during one whole build? Like just replace the entire thing except for one token thing. Is that still a gradual process? Because I would say it's not.
But the weird thing that gets me is, right, so if every cell in your body is replaced at least every 7 years, then why is my body replacing me with fat old me? Why can't it go back to the original blueprints?
Because a copy of a copy is never as good.
You saying I'm on a photocopier? The photocopier of life?
Yes.
Well, who's the Muppet who's just
hasn't there been progress lately to rejuvenate someone's skin by being able to reset the markers?
Yeah. I am looking forward to that in
Personally, I want an upgrade. I want to be a robot body so that I can just live forever in a robot body and have faster computations and Wi-Fi. I want some Wi-Fi!
Oh, Ben Tullett says, "Evening, Jenny and Zoe. I'm a bit late due to being in Cheshire watching motor racing at Oulton Park. Oh, Gandalf won't mind. Gandalf?"
A Monday clubber is never late, Frodo Baggins, nor is he early. He arrives precisely when he means to.
Thanks,
Thanks,
Gandalf. Apparently, you're good. I wouldn't worry about it. Gandalf's fine with it.
Leslie Gilpin says, read up on the history of the Flying Scotsman. It had dozens of new boilers even before Pegler bought it. Plus many other replacements. Well, I suppose, yes.
I thought it was a rebuild from one of the original A1s, wasn't it?
Jerry BVR says, yeah, they can tell where you grew up from your teeth. Probably, yeah, although my teeth are a bit odd.
Now here's a question for you.
What?
Right. If it only needs one original part to be original, what happens if you take the boiler off a locomotive and build new everything else to go with it, but then build a new boiler and put that on the old everything else? Have you just duplicated the original?
That is an interesting question, isn't it?
So basically half and half.
Oh, a half and half.
A half and half.
That's going to be quite an issue, isn't it? Because technically you could, and there's no one around to stop you doing it.
You could multiply paintings of the Fallen Madonna with the big boobies. If you cut it into 4 and then have somebody then stick each quarter into a new thing and fill in the rest, you've got 4 original copies of the Fallen Madonna with the big boobies.
You've got 4 fakes that happen to have a bit of the original in them.
No, but 1/4 of each is not fake, therefore, on the principle that, this is deep philosophical stuff, I have to say.
Yeah, but you didn't know you were going to get this when you tuned into the Monday Club.
As Peter Jackson says, very philosophical tonight. And Iron Horse Rower says, we're really deep into the workings. Yeah, it's like, those workings could be anywhere.
But it is actually quite an interesting point. If you took the rocket and built a complete replica except for one bit and you put it in, and then use the rest of the original rocket and just replace that one bit.
Isn't that how churches all claim to have a bit of the original cross?
Oh my goodness, that was so funny when it was on what was it? Blackadder the Second, where he becomes the Archbishop and he's doing an audit. And they've got enough pieces of the true cross to build 3 crosses.
Sounds about right.
Oh dear, I do love Blackadder. We should watch that again, it's been a long time.
Interesting enough, Jennifer Garrett points out that Princess Margaret Rose, which is number 46203, is preserved with boiler number 9100, which was originally carried on the turbo motive. So actually that means a substantial chunk of the turbo motive does actually still exist.
Nice.
So you could actually...
So you could take it and rebuild the rest and have the turbo motive
well,
back.
I was just thinking. You could actually build an all-new boiler for Princess Margaret Rose. You could then take that boiler and build everything else around it, and the turbo motive never went away. Melchester Model Railway says Monday Club has turned into the moral maze. Actually, I do occasionally, certainly used to listen to that a lot on Radio 4.
Oh, Lee Holton for the Monday Club videos has sent in the real rocket at the NRM. Thank you very much.
Is that like its debut rap album?
No, there's an interesting question that's come up in the Monday Club there. Where's it gone? Wonder why the rocket is called Rocket, says Ginty Steam.
It was quite fast for the time.
Is that what rocket means?
Went like a rocket, yeah.
Right.
Had they brought back fireworks from China by then?
I don't know. However, I do know the reason planet's called planet, because it's ancient Greek for wanderer.
Yeah, because they've wandered around the sky. They're basically stars, but stars that didn't move like all the other stars, as far as they were concerned.
Yes. They were the wanderers.
Yeah, the TARDIS hiding behind the blue brake fan has been spotted a lot, but there is another one in that shot, so you'll have to have a good look.
That TARDIS was our last hope. No, there is another.
J. Paul Anderson, big hello to you, says David Starkey was pretty great in The Moral Maze. It's quite good, actually. I like it most weeks. White Horse Brick says Iron Horse Railways, that's the difference between made from steak and made with steak.
Haha, yes.
It's an interesting point, actually.
Okay, I don't know whether I'm just getting old and having hot flushes or it's got very, very warm in here.
It does get a bit warm, so I do have a fan running down here. Will this help you?
Oh, that is so much better, thank you.
Is that hitting the spot?
Yes.
It doesn't do as good a job of cooling you if you're actually behind it. So I don't know where it's getting the air from.
Oh, that was nice.
John JMC, TARDIS by the signal box. Yeah, I'll give you that one.
Oh, they found it. Excellent.
Yeah, everybody's suddenly gone, oh, there's another one.
That's the thing. We have two.
And so did Dan Demand says, I've worked on several restoration projects from wagons to steam locos and diesels. Excellent.
Okay, everything's going slow again. Sorry, we're setting up for the videos, and basically YouTube has decided that the best thing to do is to halt everything so it can show an advert at 1 frame per second.
Yeah, that nobody's ever going to bother watching because it's rubbish.
Yes.
Right. What have we got here?
No, I'm just getting set up, Jen. Keep going.
Oh, right, sorry, I thought you were about to show it. Egg Rider says, so in terms of loco originality, what about 6100 Royal Scot, which before 1933 was actually 6152, the King's Dragoon Guardsman, with the original Scot becoming the Guardsman instead. Yeah, they swapped identities, and it probably happened more than you'd think. Soda Dan Derman says, if you were to do what Wardle Road did, what rolling stock would you buy to restore? A brake van is my thing as well.
You do like your brake vans?
I do, actually. Right, so shall we go to the first of today's videos?
Absolutely. So we've got one here from Charlie, who says he's got a video here on how to paint 3D printed oil drums and relay boxes. So that's rather cool. Let's give it a look. I'm going to put in the link into the chat because this is a 9.5-minute video. It's a tutorial, so
certainly this is
one that you're going to want to look at.
Yeah. So we've got some a variety of brushes there, and I do like those relay cabinets.
Yeah.
We're going to start with these oil drums. They're actually really nicely done with the red and white.
Yeah.
Gosh, I remember. Was it Jet Oil Company or something? Or,
I do remember Jet. Yeah.
Or Fuchs.
I don't remember Fuchs.
Spelled Fuchs.
No, I don't remember them. So
they're still about.
Yeah, they're about there. All I can think is that you're going to get all kinds all over your hands the way I paint.
Yeah. Iron Horse Railway says, I think if you're going to consider something to be original, then at least 50% of the vehicle has to be original. Refurbished is fine, but replacing with new doesn't count.
Yeah, I'd like to think so. Oh, look at that.
Oh.
The way he's getting the oil spilling.
Yeah. And Wardle Road says, still want a box fan. They are about. There's an airfield near Louth. And thinking back, there were a number of old... I think they're either Great Northern or Hull and Barnsley Railway grounded van bodies there. Still actually painted up, so not actually in too bad a condition.
Look at the way he's... Oh, it sounds like... Look at the way he's getting the, like, little bits. It's a similar way to how he's weathering them.
Well, yeah, it's like an oily wash.
Let's bring this on a little. Because it's 9.5 minutes, I really think people should have a look at it. Yeah, he's getting all the texturing out of it. He's bringing in the...
Yeah.
That's really well done.
These washers actually do really
yes.
Well. Alan Reynolds says, I am a happy modeler today as I have connected up another passing loop and it works okay. 9 trains online, ready for action.
It's lovely when things work, isn't it?
It is actually, yeah.
So do we get a photo of these at the end? Yes.
Ginty Steam says, if there are 2 TARDISes on the layout, does that mean 2 timelines of the Doctor on the layout at the same time? Absolutely. These do look good, actually. Those relay boxes, especially.
They've come out so well. That is fantastic. Charlie, thank you so much for sending that over.
Absolutely. So thank you so much. We're going to move back to the mainstream.
And like I said, there's a link in the chat because you're going to want to see this.
Absolutely. So thank you so much for sharing that with us. So we're going to go to the next video. So this is from Dave Baker.
Yep. When it loads up.
Soda Dan Demand says, for originality, don't go by boilers. It's the frames that are the birth of a locomotive. That's a good point, actually.
Actually, that is an interesting point, because isn't a boiler considered an expendable part?
Yeah, I mean, the boiler is a part that routinely it would be replaced several times.
So it's an expected
it's
replaceable part.
Yeah, I mean, they should last a long time, but it's not unheard of for them to be replaced.
So comparing to like the tires on a car, you wouldn't expect. What's the original part of this classic car? The tires. No,
it's
not.
more like things like replacing the clutch.
Yeah.
I mean, generally speaking, most vehicles you never need to change the clutch unless you'd either screwed up with your driving or you'd had some kind of mechanical failure. It's that kind of thing. Occasionally you'd replace a clutch, but not as a routine type thing.
So what we got here is Dave from It's My Model Railway. He says, here's a Buddy video of Rapido's new APTE in VR Intercity Swallow livery on my test track. You'll want the sound on. So I've got the sound on, but only halfway up, so it shouldn't do
if you look in the background, that's the Billy's replacement speakers car.
Oh, it is.
Okay, right.
Here we go.
You checking the sound?
It'll be fine.
Don't know.
That is a rather nice looking one.
Huh. Jennifer Garrett says Talithan is on its third set of frames.
Wow.
Since 1865.
It's got some good sound. R2-D2. Dalek!
That is a great livery, actually. It really does suit it.
And the sound is great, too.
Some good boxed sets of stuff there. I've got that ambulance chain and the railway children.
And the target. That is lovely. How big is that Dalek? That is so cool. Exterminate. It does look nice. Is this the one that everyone kept asking if you were getting one?
Yeah. Right. But yeah, absolutely. And Swallow livery. Really, really do like that. So thank you so much for sharing that with us. If you want to
much appreciated.
Go back to make sure to turn the sound off.
Lost the mouse.
Have you? Well, you need to look harder.
Beep beep.
Beep indeed.
What? I'm allowed to go beep beep.
You've turned the sound off. Right.
I'm allowed to go beep
so
beep. It's
we've
my
only got.
prerogative
Can
as
I
a
just
kid.
say we've only got 128 likes. So do please consider tickling the like button if you haven't already done so. It does go a long way to helping the feed the algorithm, and the algorithm is always hungry. Melchester Model Railway asks, how does the tilting mechanism work? I think it's as the bogies rotate, it causes the mounting to tilt in a specific direction, and that's how the tilting is done.
That's clever.
Mr. Flip Flop says it's debatable how much of Talithan and Dolgoch are original, but in my opinion, if the engine still has the personality of the original engine, I think it's considered kind of original. And yeah, I think it's the continuity that's important.
Yeah.
So for me, things like Palmerston, Prince and Princess started out as very different tank locomotives, and only later on were rebuilt into the form that you see today. So much so that they look like completely different locomotives. So there are a lot of locomotives which are seen as original, but are actually much altered. Right, what have we got here? This looks like Daisy from Thomas the Tank Engine.
Well, it's funny that you should read that from the screen.
No, I didn't actually. I didn't actually see.
So
that.
this is from Tim's Model Railway in different videos, and it's Daisy and a test run of Daisy. So let's give it a look.
Okay.
Here we go.
So, is that the Hornby or the back? Oh, it's the Backman, isn't it?
I expect
So
it's
this is
Batman.
very, very different. But see, I remember Daisy as being a Class 101, a 2-car. I'm sure Daisy was 2-car.
I don't know. It's very green.
Oh, well, yes. But I remember as being much darker green. I'm sure the internet will have an opinion on this. Good night to Cameron Patterson. You take care. Hopefully catch you later. Warbler Production says the only parts of Prince still existing from 1863/4 are the wheels. The rest has been replaced a few times. And you probably find that the wheels as well, I would have expected them to have been replaced too. Certainly because tyres wear down and the centres do have a habit of cracking over time.
No, that's Daisy.
Yeah, but I'm sure she was 2-car. Oh no, apparently not.
Yeah.
So that would mean she's actually a class 121. Huh. Never realised. Daisy is like a bubble single car, says Malvern Junction.
Yeah.
Gosh. Huh. I always thought of her as a Class 101.
When did the big grey faces appear? Because I'm looking at the Reverend's original drawings, and they don't have big grey faces. The faces are the same colour as the rest of the livery.
The 1960 version, that's the one that I remember. Huh.
Yeah, but all the modern ones
They don't have the grey faces.
Yeah, have the what would essentially be a copyrighted thing of these grey faces.
No!
Whoa!
Little thing.
Oh. You've got to be careful, Jan.
Yeah, I was being careful, but it decided that...
You just dropped your CD on your new loco.
It's not my new locomotive.
You just dropped a CD on your old loco. Yeah, you just dropped a... Jen, it's going to be back in a second. If we had a technical troubles thing, we'd be pressing it now. Because Jenny managed to derail her locomotive with a flying CD. Be careful.
I was being careful.
You weren't.
No,
you were throwing CDs at your choo-choos.
Would you like to crawl back down out of my ass? Well, they've got a great...
Jerry DPR says that sounded expensive.
Nearly.
Yes.
These have got grey faces.
It would have been expensive if the CD had hit the engineering prototype from KR Models. Whoa! Can you jump back to... Because now we've got adverts on. We don't want adverts on.
No. So, thank you so much for that.
That was brilliant.
I'm looking through these. They've all got the faces on.
Yeah, it's an interesting question, isn't it? When did they arrive?
From the start, I'm guessing.
But they weren't.
But Daisy... Yeah, but look at the other locomotives. You got me on a hunt here now. I'm seeing them all with the weird grey faces. Yeah, they've all got the grey faces.
Okay, well, while the next one's coming on, I'll look at
the images.
Yeah, while the next one...
We're on a mission now.
Yes, while the next video is running, we'll have a look for that. So
yeah, Harry Sedgwick confirms that they're dark green in the books, but light green on the TV.
Yeah.
Yeah, the TV stuff. Yeah, Trev says, oops, that sounded like it hurt. Nearly, actually, we missed anything of great sensitivity. All we
what
did,
you really hit was basically
it hit the
jump.
ground and it caused the locomotive to jump off. Russell Benton says branch line engines is the book you need.
Yeah, that's
I thought, yeah.
So our next video comes from Lee Holden, which is Hornby, older Hornby and Triang locomotives at Lower House Junction. Now
Interesting.
Oh, your It's off.
Oh.
A result of your...
No, it's just it went, oh, we need more attention.
No, you knocked it off. That's what
Just
you did.
press the
That's
button.
what you did. You did
Just
it.
shut up and press the button.
Oh, turned it off. Oops.
Are you done?
I pressed the wrong button. Sorry.
No, you're not.
I'm not.
No,
So,
you're not.
this next one from Lee Holden is Older Hornby and Triang at... wherever it was. Sorry, I've lost the...
Alright, so shall I press the button?
Yes, please. So, he's sent us a message as well. Please find my latest model railway video. It goes live today at 4 PM, which was last week. It's a video of older locomotives running on my layouts with a combined age of over 100 years since manufacturing.
I'm sure I saw a firebox glow in that. Is that an ATF?
And it shows just how good model trains can be and how much enjoyment trains can bring to generations.
Oh,
now,
yeah,
that is true. That is really true.
Yeah, definitely. So I'm just trying to what looked like an ATF with firebox glow intrigued me. I didn't catch it that time, but that there is a Hornby B12. I'm going to say B12. Yeah, so the general consensus is she's a class 121. But her front looks very much more like the class 101. J94, big hello to you. Also confirms it's an 8F. So,
all the pictures of Thomas have him with the grey face.
Yeah, all the pictures
Every
of the other
single
ones,
one.
it seems to just be Daisy. Very peculiar. So maybe they gave her a grey face so that she fitted in.
Maybe.
Joshua W56 says the CGI series Daisy isn't that different from the model series Daisy. The only difference I know is that her chassis is more like a 121. So in many ways she's like a double-ended 101 car. There's actually quite a lot of locos knocking about on this. Oh, they're the London and North Western Railway liveried Hornby 4 and 6 wheelers. I do like that livery, I have to say, really do. And there's some good super quick buildings there. There's the castle, Zoe, the castle keep. I quite like that tower block as well. That's a useful space filler towards the back of the layout to give a really, really good sense of height. Now, interesting. Where was Russell Benton suggests that he thinks the Hornby 8F of the late 80s had a firebox glow. Interesting.
Nice.
Oh, there's somebody saying Black 5. Yeah, there's definitely some kind of firebox glow going on in there. Now that's an 8F. I'm sure of it. Valleys 56XX says saw a Murdoch on the weekend on eBay for £1,499. Hope it has free postage at that sort of price. But clearly somebody must be buying them at that price. Or are they showing as sold or never sold? And yeah, it's a BR Black Ginty on the front of that other rake of stuff. So, got a lot going on here. So, thank you very much for sharing this with us. So, shall we move to our next video? I'm just going to move that on to another angle. And Ginty Steam says, in the TV series, they made it easy to swap the bodies of Boko and Daisy. The chassis of both characters are the same, and the face masks are the same. Interesting. Jennifer Garrett says, I agree. I recall a firebox glow on mine in the 1980s. Oh, there we go. They were quite ahead of their time then. This firebox glow is only really becoming a big thing now. Breeze707 confirms it. Yes, Hornby 80s and early 90s had the firebox glow. Right, so what are you looking at?
I'm just looking, I'm trying to find the information, but The Reverend Audrey appears to have caused a bit of some trouble with some of the first books because he didn't like the way Thomas was painted. The fact
He
that
did argue a lot with
the fact that they changed the shape of the side tanks and all sorts.
Skipsy Trains. Big hello to you. It's great to meet you at the Rails event on Friday.
And also the fact is Thomas was originally green instead of blue. so, yeah, he seems to have been a bit argumentative. But I can't find anything about the faces.
Okay, well, if you would change the video.
Absolutely will, yes. So you asked me for information and I had to look it up.
Hey, what do you
Have you pressed the button?
I have pressed the button.
Right, well there you are then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of people said about the Firebox Glow. I was unaware of that. I stand
That is
corrected.
quite cool actually. The fact that
Yeah. Trev says at that price, this is the Murdoch at a penny under 1,500 quid. Why all the pretense? Oh look, it's not quite 1,500 quid. You get the bargain.
So what we've got here is some stuff from Andrew Plumtree. He's got a
at the Appleby Frodingham Railway Preservation Society. He's
Yes.
the gentleman who helped KR Models with the Hunslet Bobo, which just as a quick reminder for people who've just joined us, we've got going around the Hunslet Bobo EP, fully functional EP from KR Models. Plus there's a couple of PAL bricks, the two different types of PAL bricks, the EPs of those are straight behind it. You'll see it now coming into frame there. You'll see it cutting across the middle, and it's running really, really well.
So we've got some information to go with the photos that he sent over. So if I'll just bring that up, and then if you want to read that out.
So this is from Andrew Plumtree. It says, "Hi Zoe. I emailed last week when you had my friend Mike from KR Models on. I've been working alongside KR Models on the British Steel Hunslet locomotive and torpedoes. They're the torpedo wagons, the steel wagons. I both work for British Steel, but my association with KR Models is through the Appleby Frodingham Railway. We were on guided rail tours around the 110 miles of British Steel site. I think it's 110 miles of track length.
Wow.
In Scunthorpe, talking about the steelmaking processes and history. Our route is usually around 17 miles, and passengers ride in our brake vans, hauled by a steam or diesel locomotives. We also offer driver experiences on our locomotives around the site, and they can be found on Facebook, Twitter, and their website at afrps.co.uk. So, thank you so much for these. So, I think that locomotive, hasn't it just recently been made by the Engage Society in Engage?
It looks very, very new.
Well, the locomotive, I wouldn't say so.
Well, at least the paint job is. Look at that.
No, that's probably 50s, 60s.
Fair enough.
So, nice.
That's the first photo they sent.
That's the actual Hunslet. So this here, really good picture, which shows one of the Hunslets in its natural environment. And
What's
I can
this?
imagine...
Is that
It's the exhaust stack, is in
but
there.
it seems like it's aimed backward towards...
It's got a cover around it, like a heat baffle.
Right.
And then behind it, that's the torpedo wagon. Really, really interesting. Richard Swiderski says, would love to do that tour. Certainly, yeah, it does sound good. There's a second one on the back. There's one of the Hunslet Austerities. That's not real slag being poured there.
To be honest with you, for a second I was thinking, oh, they're delivering bacon. But
no,
they're not, are
it's,
they?
I've driven past there, actually. I have seen that. It always looks like it's made of fiberglass. So there we've got, actually, there's brake vans. Looks like a Shark, a BR Standard, and then the one behind that actually is making me think of a London South Western Railway road van, but it's probably the Angle, and I'm going to say it's probably actually a Stania type XLMS one. Oh wow! So this is
that bit was so you could tell it's a boy locomotive.
yeah, and this is Andrew's layout, which is a Steelworks based layout.
I think we've seen this one on video.
may well have. Or did we meet him at Statfold and he showed us the photos?
I don't know, but I do recognise that.
I've seen this photo before. Certainly that looks
Yeah.
amazing. So this is his own model layout with his Steelworks fleet. Are they Janus shunters? I think they might be actually. But certainly a really impressive fleet there and some really good weathering. And Joshua W56 says, did you know there's an austerity named after Wilbur Audrey? Yes, I knew that. There's been a model of it made by Hornby in the past.
Nice.
I think it's like a blue colour, and I think it's based at the Dean Forest Railway. Model Railway Noob says, didn't we see these last week? That might explain why we recognise them.
Maybe.
Iron Horse Railway says, are they all custom Janus logos? I think they might be. Yeah, apparently we showed them last week.
That would explain why. So we've got a few more, and I'm just going to go through. This one is from John JMC.
Yeah, everybody said we showed them last week, so apologies for that.
To be honest with you,
good.
After last week, it was difficult to remember. Because we were kind of pushed. For some reason, this decided to start
navigating through treacle.
So John JMC, Pico Small England with DCC sound from Digitrains. I'm going to put the sound on.
Okay, so
not very high, same way it was before. So if you want to bring that up, Jen.
Okay, are you ready?
Yes.
Okay.
Beep beep. You've got those coaches, haven't you?
Yeah, that's the Hornby magazine layout.
Yeah, I recognise it.
Big hello to Rule 1 Model Railways. And Dylan Rupert, thank you so much for your generosity, donating $10 on the Super Chats. There's one more Super Chat before I get off for the afternoon. Also, I can't wait to see what other American locomotives you decide to review in the future. Love the other reviews as well. You're absolutely welcome, and thank you so much for your generosity, which does go a long way to help.
It really does.
Keep us able to make the videos that you want to see. Ian Parker says, my dad works in the Appleby Frodingham Works, world's largest rod and bar mill.
Wow.
It is a huge site. Certainly, we've got 110 miles of tracks on site. Did you turn the sound off?
I have, don't worry.
So we won't be having a repeat of the Billy's replacement speakers.
Okay, now we've got one from Leslie Gilpin, and the message he sent with it is, yes, it's North American, and yes, it's in N scale. Okay, he says go to 9 minutes 10 seconds in for interesting views. But of course, I am going to put the entire video link on the chat for you all as well. Providing it actually, is everything slowing down? How's it going for you?
It's a little bit jerky.
Yeah, I really wish I knew what was going on with our connection.
I think we need to somehow disable the Windows update.
It's doing it all the time. It really is very annoying.
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't even got anything on screen. Hey, finally! Oh my goodness!
XMG12, big hello to you. Great to see you in, and also big hello, of course, to everybody who's just lurking in the chat. There's a lot of you. We normally get a couple of thousand people.
I would love to know what's going on, because this is now at our end, because it's a processing issue, just to render that onto the screen. So
Is that trying to play?
No. I've just made it large on the screen, ready for us to play.
Okay.
And it took 15 seconds just to bring it to full screen.
Ah.
Which means it's our computer. It's not the internet connection. It's this computer.
Oh, well, maybe we're saturating it.
With what?
I don't know, we've got 32 gig of RAM in it.
And we're doing the same thing we do every week. So what's going on? Windows, you suck.
Right.
Press the button. Come on.
Yeah, but you're not moving it up to where they said.
Yes. Yes, I am. Honest.
So,
I didn't forget.
Okay, so we're going to move over.
Yeah.
And N scale, eh? Ooh.
Yeah.
You got
Panic
some
Union
really,
Lines
really,
N scale.
get a really good. Oh, that's a Pennsylvania Railroad GG1.
I have to say, I really do like the look of American style railway.
Oh yeah, one of my future projects, I really do want to model a US outline working diorama.
Yeah, they just look so good.
And of course, the best thing about N-Gauge is you get an awful lot in that space.
This is really nice.
It is actually, yeah.
I like the plane coming into land.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh wow! Oh
and
my
the tracks
goodness.
deep down amongst the buildings. That is really, really good. Oh, it's the Flatiron Building.
Yeah.
Oh, and then there's like the Chicago Loop overhead railway.
Yes.
Or we should say railroad.
I do.
Out there, down there on the sidewalk.
This is something that I mentioned when I was talking to Half-Ass Customs.
Oh yeah, yeah.
About what I would like to do is model the scene you see in the Blues Brothers with the overhead railway and Elwood. I think it's Elwood.
The Chicago L, I think.
Yeah,
isn't it?
just sat in his window, and as the train goes past,
Mm.
it's like most people wouldn't get what I was modelling, but for those that
I think
do,
a lot of people would.
they'd appreciate it. I like the idea of that.
This is I
lovely.
like those. That diner with the big sign on the roof.
Yeah.
The sense of height is amazing. Look at that. That building still keeps going up and up.
Yeah. Devil says, should we all switch everything off? And then I'm going to go, no, thank you. Please stay with us. We need the runtime.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
I
Look at
like
that
those
bridge.
bridges.
Yeah.
Like both of them.
This is fantastic. The detail.
So we've got the city, and then we've got the mountains.
Yeah.
Really nice. There's a lot going on here, and this is a big layout.
It really is. I mean, I know it's N-Gauge, so you get a lot in, but even so, it's huge.
I love those bridges.
Mm.
Really nice. They look like they're made soldered together from brass and then painted.
Yeah.
Certainly really, really nice.
So well done. We've done an entire loop because there's the diner again.
Yeah, yeah. But I love that height around the buildings.
The thing is, oof.
Mmm.
That looks like a boat on tracks, doesn't it? It
Um,
has a kind of boatish front.
a little bit, yeah, I guess you're right.
Yeah.
Of course, they have a much bigger loading gauge.
Yeah.
In fact, Britain has one of the most restricted loading gauges in the world.
Well, we have to fit
Well,
a lot in a small space.
Well, no, it's not that. It's just we came first and everybody else looked at what we did and went, I like your railway thing, but I think they could be bigger.
Yeah, do your tracks really have to be the width of a Roman horse's arse?
Well, no, it's not the track width, it's the actual cross-section of the trains
I'm
themselves.
joking, Jen.
Mm.
The bridges are MDF, says Leslie Gilpin.
Oh,
Wow.
wow, a laser cut MDF kit. They look really good, actually, all painted up.
To be honest with you, laser cut for stuff has really
That
enhanced
is-
what you can
yeah.
do in this hobby.
That's really impressive.
That is so well done.
It is, actually, yeah. I do love those bridges.
Yeah.
Big fan of bridges.
Right, like I say, I've put the link into the chat. This is a very long video of 15 minutes, so
So we're going to...
it's going to be worth your while having a look. Look at that!
Oh.
Whoa, what is that? That was huge.
It's an American thing. I don't know. You're asking the wrong person.
Well, we get to see it from another side. Oh.
Okay, yeah. Oh, Canadian
Now he's
flag.
in Canada.
Yeah.
Wow, he's modelled a border crossing.
Yeah.
Cool. Actually, that's a really cool thing. You don't often see that, do you? Very nice.
Oh, excuse me.
So, it's a good thing we're not modelling a border crossing between England and France, because the train would have to actually stop and change sides on the track.
Leslie Gilpin Railway says the tower blocks of various manufacturers, the small buildings are DPM mostly.
Right.
And Stevie Film says, reminds me of Rod Stewart's layout. Jenny, you should try and reach out through his agent and get him on the show so he can give us a tour. We would love that.
Cool.
So, Rod Stewart or Rod Stewart's people, if you should ever come across this, then please, please, please drop us a line. We'd love to get you on the Monday Club, and certainly it would be an absolute honour to come and actually visit your model railway.
Even digitally via just hold up a phone and show us it.
Yeah, even just send us a video.
Yeah.
We would
Sounds
love
so cool.
to see it. So, but yeah.
Oh man, I'm loving this. It's so cool. Right, we've got to move on now because we do have others.
Absolutely. So I've gone back to that.
So I'm just gonna see if I can get this thing to work. Work, come on. Beep.
Beep, 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 beep. How are we doing on time? Gosh.
We're running out of time.
Are we nearly at the blooming heck?
It
goes
flies
quick.
by.
It does go
It really
quick,
does. It
doesn't it?
flies by. So we've got a lot more still. I'm sorry to say we've got a lot.
So even doing that extra 15 minutes isn't enough.
No. So I'm gonna
Oh,
actually.
the real rocket, because we were talking about this earlier
Yeah,
on.
I'm gonna make sure we get this in today because we were talking about it. So this one is from Lee Horton.
Let me just put them back up there.
I mean, this time you didn't manage to derail all your trains.
Yeah.
My goodness, you're improving. So I have actually jumped to. Oh my goodness, I am boiling.
It is
I'm
a bit.
burning up in here.
It is a bit warm. So shall I just blast you with a little bit more of the my special gaseous powering tool?
So I'm just gonna try and bring this up.
It
It's
is
taken a
getting
long
warmer
time.
now.
I think this might have to be our last video because it's just struggling.
Could it be that it's starting to overheat?
Perhaps. Okay.
Oh, this is interesting.
So this is the rocket. The actual rocket at the National Railway Museum in Rio. We should go back there because last time we were there was for like a press release thing.
Right,
We didn't really get to see it.
press play. So this is the real rocket. This is what's left of it, and you can see
And it's different.
It's not complete, but certainly you can see how it's been rebuilt.
Yeah.
So those cylinders have been moved down from that 45-degree angle to something much closer to horizontal.
So what we'd see a lot of these days.
Yeah, so you're starting to already see a development to more to what locomotives became.
Yeah.
So it is it's still the 022, but we've got that fundamental change in positioning of the cylinders, and as well that smoke box looks different. Soda Dan Daman, thank you so much. Very, very generously donated
so
£2 on the super chat. Says, did you grab the £76 W4 packet from Amazon? I didn't. It has to be said that I've already got.
That was amazing.
I've already got what 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 W4 packets. So it's one of those things that, as much as I'd love to get one, I have to buy things that I can review for the channel, really.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I feel a bit naughty buying stuff that doesn't go towards content.
Okay. John Chamsey says, I did send in a photograph just for you. For you, sorry. Yes, he did. Can you bring that up? Because this is what really impressed me at Statford Farm when we saw
I love the bridge. It's one of the...
That's not what was impressing to me. Where's that back scene start, Jen?
Yeah, it's how the back scene merges into the foreground.
Yeah, it's just so well done.
Yeah, that is really, really good.
It's so well done.
Is that one of the Pico bridges? I love the bridges. I always love bridges. Really,
You've just managed to do that so well. That is just amazing.
Yeah.
Proper blending.
Absolutely,
Very impressed.
really, really. Rule 1 Model Railways, we'll perhaps have a packet running next week. It's too late to do anything on the trains at the moment, but yeah, maybe next week we'll get a couple of packets going.
So, guys, I'm sorry to say that we haven't been able to show all of the videos again, but the
We've
ones
still
that
got 10 minutes.
But everything's chugging and slowing down and it's not working properly. And I think, to be honest with you, it might be a good idea not to overstress the computer.
Okay, so we're going to carry some over to next week again.
We will get through them.
Next week we'll probably do 3/4 of an hour. But thank you to everybody who sent something in. Really enjoyed those. Some really great videos. Flymo Chairman 1 has very, very kindly donated £5 on the super chat. Thank you so much. It says for the air conditioning for the loft. I think we had this last year, and it's
we're going to have to do it. I'm sorry, but
get an air conditioning unit.
or just drill some holes in the roof.
No.
Well,
I think we
pass
need
me the drill. I'll do it now.
No. I think we need to get ourselves down to B&Q before the rush for summer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know what we need to do.
Rule 1 Model Railway says hashtag Packetfest 2022.
I know what we need, Jen. It's perfect. Let's go and get the paddling pool and just dip our feet in it.
But not the trains.
No. But then you won't be able to pass that, otherwise things might go off.
Yeah. Andy Brooks asks, Jenny, do you have any Class 66s? I recently took a shine
I'm
to these
so glad you put the
locomotives.
66s on there. Jenny, do you have any class? No.
I have been watching them come through Peterborough. No, I don't have any Class 66s, although we did get a go with the decorated sample of the Hatton's Class 66 quite some time ago now, but
It has been a while.
we did put it through its paces up here on Weir Yard, so you can actually get to see a Class 66 running up here, but I don't actually
You don't actually have one because it's not really your area, is it?
no.
Era, that's what I meant.
So did Dan Demand says, if you were to build a USA railroad with raised metro lines as seen in movies, would you partly build, fully build, or not build the street scene below? I think you'd have to have the street scene below.
Oh, you've got to have the scene, yeah.
Yeah. Lee D. Holden says, thanks for showing my videos tonight. You're absolutely welcome.
Yeah, absolutely welcome.
And Heiderich Vladimir says, where can I send stuff for you to see? If you send your emails with the subject title of Monday Club to zoe@zoerobinson.com and send the URL for any videos. They need to be hosted on a streaming service such as YouTube, works really well. Do not attach videos, they're too big, they will break and will not get seen. Pictures, again, make sure that they're not overly large. They can be sent same address with the same subject title. Ian Parker says, I need a longer shed. Yeah, that's the thing. The curse of model railways is that no matter how much room you have, you always need that little bit more. Iron Horse Railway says, maybe steam from the Garden Railway in the summer. Well, they only have one live steam locomotive, which is a Mammoth, and it honestly really does not like gradients. So I'm going to have to, when I rebuild the Garden Railway, one of the things I'm looking to do is to dispense with any gradients, and really would look forward to being able to run the Mammoth. One of the problems I've got is that the Mammoth, being SM32, doesn't really do well with O-gauge points. So I've got to figure out a way of getting a nice run without there being a problem of them derailing on the points. Flymo Chairman 1 says, just a few bits and pieces. Replying to B2000 RO Toys channel, big hello to you. Hi Jenny and Zoe, I've finally received my blue paint and started painting Edward. Now I just need a face to motorise him and add an eye mechanism. Brilliant. So
that's going to be amazing to see when
absolutely, because I know you shared with us some video of it running, your last project running in the garden, so we'd love to see that running.
Yeah.
Heiderich Vladimir says, thank you for your answers to Jenny and moderators as well. I love this community.
Oh, thank you. We're
you.
glad you're happy, and you're very welcome.
Absolutely.
Okay, so we've got 5 minutes. Is there any other news? What have we got coming up, Jen?
Well, whilst we were at the Rails of Sheffield reopening of the new shop on Friday, we got to see again samples of the quarry Hunslets from Bachmann, and I got to have a good chat with Richard Proudman. I can't remember actually whether you were filming that or not, but certainly I had a good chat with Richard Proudman about the quarry Hunslets, and it's really great to see them. And he said the 009 is definitely firmly on the cards at Bachmann, and whilst obviously we would never expect manufacturers to reveal to us unannounced items, he did say that there are a lot of projects in the pipeline that will obviously be announced in good time.
Yep.
and these do include a lot of 009 models. So really looking forward to those. Obviously couldn't say what they haven't announced, but it's interesting to hear that actually we won't see these lengthy developments anymore from Bachmann. They're really looking to go down the route of what we had with the double fairly for any future models, whereby it will be announced pretty much a couple of weeks before they hit the shops. So essentially when you see the next announcement from Bachmann of a new model, it will be in the shops within a couple of weeks.
To be honest with you, I can fully understand what he's talking about now. Because
people get fed up of waiting.
Yeah, a lot of people have got a bit sick of, oh, so in 3 years' time I'll be able to get this. It's like, I can't wait that long and be excited all that time. It's just how it is these days. People expect things almost immediately.
And they've been waiting 20 years for the VEA vans. Bachmann originally announced them back in about 2001, 2002.
And that's also another reason why announcing things as they're about to come out onto the shelves works better. Because yes, you can say you're going to do something, and then something that you didn't even expect to happen happens, and all of a sudden you can't make this thing. But you've announced it, so now people expect it.
There's a lot of people saying that I really enjoyed tonight's stream. So I think there's a few people preparing to go, so we might leave the cameras running for a few minutes after we depart, just so that people can enjoy the trains running. But it's been really great to have your company. A real pleasure, as always, to hang out with you on Monday night. And we hope to welcome you back next week when we will be having more Monday Club goodness. And maybe we should try and book a guest again for next week. I'm not sure.
If you want to, I'm happy with that. That's fine.
Yeah, we've had some good guests actually. We could do virtual guests.
All your guests have been good.
Oh, of course.
They give a different perspective on things, and that's what you want.
Absolutely. So, just really got time for me and the Cupboard Monkey to say it's awfully hot up here. But thank you for joining us. Thank you for all the generous donations through Super Chat. Thank you so much. And we're going to drift away now and leave you with some train goodness. But until next week, don't forget to like this stream, share it to social media, and subscribe if you haven't already done so. And look out on Wednesday. It's going to be our full coverage of the Rails of Sheffield new store opening, where we were in the presence of New Junction. Actually, he features in another intro. Anybody would think he was following us around, rattling our bins
you're
in there.
following him around.
No, never. But big hello to New Junction on the rewind when you do manage to watch this. Maybe he's there, sort of stuck underneath the layout, soldering stuff, going, "I am here, just haven't got free hands for the keyboard." So look, you guys take great care of yourself. And until next week, take care. Bye for now.
Train now departing is the 2059 service to Minith Tatis. I had to think about that for a moment. The 2059 service to Minith Tatis, stopping at Blair Street Yard, Bolton Trinity Road. The old name layout from one of those old videos that most of you probably don't even remember. Eindhoven, Weir Yard, and then on to Blair Street Yard. That's the 2059 service to Blair Street Yard. If you go up to the loft today, you're sure of a big surprise. If you go up to the loft today, you'll never believe your eyes. For every train there ever was has gathered there together because today's the day that Jenny does the Monday Club. Good night.